basically two types of scallops. There's a bay scallop, usually on the smaller side, pretty tender though. There's a sea scallop, which these are a sea scallop, so they're gonna be bigger, delicious flavor as well. Then there's a diver scallop. That's actually where divers go down by hand to catch the scallop. So that's usually like the most expensive. But yeah, stick with a good sea scallop, bay scallop, make sure it's wild and make sure it's dry. You know, definitely check with your seafood person. That is the #1 key I could give you guys, dry scallops. So you could see this wasn't in any solution. I got it from a really good seafood place. And with a dry scallop, you're gonna get a gorgeous sear. Other like scallops that are a little cheaper, they're in a kind of solution brine. It's gonna be impossible to get a sear. The flavor's gross, so I highly recommend you stay away. Now let's get to work. Start off by grabbing a cutting board and covering it with some paper towels. Now you're gonna wanna remove the abductor muscle, which you'll find on the side of the scallop. That part's very tough, so definitely not worth eating. Each scallop has something called the presentation side, so it's basically part of the scallop where it's gonna be longer at the bottom. So always find that part. That's where we're gonna wanna sear first to get optimal browning. Now grab some paper towels and give this a nice pat dry. This is gonna help us get a nice sear as well. Throw a stainless steel pan on some medium-high heat, or you could use a non-stick pan, but what's super important here is you really wanna get the pan nice and hot. Another important tip with scallops, you never ever wanna season early. If you do this, it's gonna get all liquidy, so make sure you season right before we're about to get cooking. So now you're just gonna wanna season with a little bit of salt and some pepper, and then we're gonna add to the pan. Now add in high heat cooking oil. I like to use avocado oil for this. And the big tip here, drizzle in enough so that it covers the bottom of the pan nicely. This way it's gonna help give a nice sear to the scallops. Once you see that the oil is starting to smoke, this is when you're gonna wanna add the scallops in. So doing it at one at a time, you wanna push down slightly. It's gonna help form the crust. And you also don't wanna overcrowd the pan because that's gonna cause them to steam and it's not gonna sear as well. Once all the scallops are in the pan, you're gonna wanna set a timer for 2 minutes. And at this point, I like to swirl the pan. This is gonna help the oil hit the sides of the scallops. It's gonna help with the sear. Now season the other sides with a nice amount of salt and pepper. Once there's about 30 seconds left on the timer, I like to add in a pat of butter. Swirl the pan a bit more. And now it's time to flip the scallops. The moment of truth. Drum roll, please. That is exactly what you wanna see right there. A nice dark crust. You can see the beautiful color on there. Oh yeah, that looks delicious. Now that we have these flipped over, you're gonna wanna set a timer for 1:30. If they're on the smaller side, you only need to cook about 1 minute more. Grab a spoon and tilt the pan, and now spoon over the butter and oil mixture. This is gonna help the sear even more and add some flavor to the scallops. Once the 1:30 is up, we're gonna remove these from the pan, and then it's time to enjoy. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it shows you how easy it is to get a gorgeous sear on the scallops. And if you did enjoy it, would really appreciate if you guys liked the video, and give me a subscribe as well if you want to see more tutorials and recipes like this. So thank you so much, and until next time.